I was savoring a rare moment of peace in the employee break room when the door slammed open, and a woman stormed in, shrieking, "Where's the manager?" like she owned the place. The clock on the wall read 200 p.m. and Joe's Diner, our little family-owned gem in suburban Columbus, Ohio, was just catching its breath after the lunch rush. The break room, tucked behind a faded, "employees only" sign, was my sanctuary. A cramped space with a wobbly table holding a platter of leftover sandwiches, a gurgling coffee maker, and a bulletin board plastered with staff schedules. A security camera blinked in the hallway, keeping watch over the diner's comings and goings. I'm Tom, a 50-year-old waiter who's been at Joe's for 2 decades. My standard uniform, black slacks, white shirt, and a name tag pinned slightly crooked, felt like a second skin. I was sipping coffee, the bitter warmth grounding me, when the chaos erupted. Across the table, Lisa, a young server with her apron folded neatly beside her, froze mid-bite of a turkey sandwich. Mike, one of our cooks, clutched his chipped coffee mug, his eyebrows shooting up as he leaned back in his chair. The woman, Karen Mitchell, as I'd later learn, stood in the doorway, her flashy blazer catching the fluorescent light. Oversized sunglasses perched on her nose and a designer purse dangled from her arm like a trophy. At 45, she had the sharp, entitled air of someone who'd never been told no. Her voice sliced through the room, demanding the manager with a tone that made it clear she wasn't asking, she was commanding. "Excuse me, ma'am," I said, setting my coffee down, my voice steady despite the jolt of her intrusion. "This is an employee-only area. Can I help you out front?" Karen didn't even glance at the employees-only sign she'd barreled past. She clutched a paper-wrapped sandwich in her other hand, waving it like evidence in a courtroom. "This is unacceptable," she snapped, her sunglasses slipping slightly. "I asked for no mayo on my turkey sandwich, and it's slathered in it! I want the manager now." Lisa's eyes widened, her sandwich hovering near her mouth. Mike let out a low whistle, muttering under his breath, "Here we go." I shot him a look to stay quiet. This wasn't our first rodeo with an upset customer, but Karen's energy was next level. The break room, usually a haven of bad jokes and quick naps, felt like a stage for her one-woman show. "Ma'am, I'm happy to fix that for you," I tried again, standing to keep things calm. "Let's head to the dining area, and I'll get a new sandwich started." "I'm not going anywhere until I see the manager!" Karen's voice pitched higher, her purse swinging as she planted herself in the doorway. The security camera in the hall would have caught her grand entrance, no doubt. A clip Mr. Johnson, our owner, might review later with a sigh. The diner itself was a cozy spot with checkered tablecloths and the faint hum of classic rock from the jukebox. At 200 p.m., the lunch crowd had thinned, leaving a handful of regulars nursing coffee or pie. Out there, the world moved at Joe's easy pace, but in here, Karen was a tornado. Lisa set her sandwich down, her hands fidgeting, while Mike gripped his mug like it was an anchor. I could feel the weight of their eyes on me, waiting for my next move. I'd dealt with tough customers before. 20 years at Joe's taught me how to smooth over complaints with a smile and a quick fix. But Karen's blazing eyes and that entitled tilt of her chin told me this wasn't just about mayo. This was about control, and she wasn't letting go. "Hey everyone," I said, breaking the tension with a glance at Lisa and Mike. "Let me know where you're watching this from and what time it is there." It was a habit from years of chatting up customers, a way to keep things light. But Karen wasn't here for light. She was here to burn the place down, or at least our afternoon. Karen's face was beet red, and her sandwich complaint was just the start of her tirade. The break room clock at Joe's Diner ticked to 2:05 p.m., the fluorescent lights buzzing as tension choked the air. The "employees only" sign on the door was invisible to Karen Mitchell, her flashy blazer wrinkled from her animated gestures. Her oversized sunglasses slipped down her nose, revealing narrowed eyes that darted between me, Lisa, and Mike. Her designer purse swung like a pendulum as she waved her half-eaten turkey sandwich, its paper wrapper crinkling loudly. "This is outrageous," Karen barked, hoisting the sandwich like evidence in a trial. "I specifically said no mayo, and it's practically drowning in it, and it took 20 minutes to get this during your so-called lunch rush. Incompetence. Pure incompetence. I want a refund and a free meal, and I want the manager now." I took a slow breath, my name tag glinting under the lights as I stepped forward, voice steady. "Mom, I'm truly sorry about the mix-up. Let me take that back and get you a fresh sandwich, no mayo on the house. It'll be quick." Karen's sunglasses slid further as she jabbed a finger at me. Do you think I'm here for your pathetic apologies? I said I want the manager. Her voice cracked with indignation, loud enough to carry into the dining area, where I pictured regulars glancing up from their coffee and pie. Lisa, seated at the wobbly break room table, clutched her folded apron, her face pale. Her half-eaten sandwich sat abandoned, her eyes wide with the shock of Karen's fury. Mike leaned back in his chair, chipped coffee mug in hand, and rolled his eyes. He leaned toward me, whispering, "Same lady who griped about cold soup last month." I gave a subtle nod, "Keep it quiet." Karen didn't need more ammunition. The break room, with its platter of leftover sandwiches and bulletin board of staff schedules, felt like a shrinking cage. The security camera in the hallway blinked, capturing Karen's performance for Mr. Johnson's inevitable review. Beyond the door, Joe's Diner hummed with its checkered tablecloths and jukebox tunes, a world apart from the storm brewing here. Karen's voice climbed another octave, her purse nearly slipping off her shoulder. "This place disrespects loyal customers. 20 minutes for a sandwich, and then you slap mayo on it. I'm leaving a 1-star review on Yelp, and I'll make sure everyone knows how awful this diner is." She gestured wildly, the sandwich nearly smacking the coffee maker on the counter. "Mom, we value you as a customer," I said, hands raised slightly to soothe her. "Let's fix this. I can have a new sandwich ready in 5 minutes, and we'll make this right." But Karen wasn't listening. Her tirade was a runaway train, and my words were just pebbles on the tracks. Lisa shifted uncomfortably, her eyes flicking to the door, probably wishing she could slip back to the dining room. Mike set his mug down with a soft clink, his jaw tight. The break room's usual warmth, filled with our banter and the scent of burnt coffee, had vanished, swallowed by Karen's wrath. I felt the weight of the moment, knowing this was no longer about a sandwich. Karen's demands were escalating, but the manager's arrival was about to change everything. Mr. Johnson walked in, and his calm demeanor hid a storm of resolve. The break room clock at Joe's Diner hit 20:10 p.m., the fluorescent lights casting stark shadows as Karen Mitchell's tirade paused, her beat, red face turning toward the new arrival. Her flashy blazer was slightly askew, her oversized sunglasses now perched precariously on her nose, and her designer purse dangled from her arm. The half-eaten turkey sandwich, still clutched in her hand, drooped in its crinkled wrapper. The "employees only" sign on the door swayed slightly from the force of Mr. Johnson's entrance, his clipboard tucked under one arm like a shield. Mr. Johnson, the 60-year-old owner of Joe's, had a no-nonsense reputation earned over decades of running the diner. His voice, steady and low, cut through the tension. "Ma'am, I'm the manager. Please explain the issue calmly." Karen didn't miss a beat. She launched into a rant, her voice shrill as she waved the sandwich. "Your staff is lazy. This sandwich has mayo when I said none, and it took 20 minutes to get it. The service here is atrocious, absolutely atrocious. I want a full refund, compensation for my wasted time, and a free meal." Her sunglasses slipped further, and she pushed them up with a trembling finger, her purse swinging wildly. I stood near the wobbly break room table, my uniform crisp despite the chaos, watching Mr. Johnson's face. Lisa, her apron still clutched tightly, looked like she wanted to disappear, while Mike, his coffee mug now abandoned on the table, crossed his arms, his eyes narrowed. The security camera in the hallway blinked, recording every word for posterity, while out in the dining area, the jukebox's faint melodies clashed with Karen's venom. Mr. Johnson listened, his expression unreadable, then nodded. "Mistakes happen, ma'am, especially during a busy lunch rush. I'll comp your meal and throw in a $20 gift card for your trouble." "Fair enough." Karen's jaw dropped, as if he'd offered her pocket lint. "Fair? You think that's fair for this disaster? I'm a loyal customer, and this is how you treat me." Her voice rose, echoing off the break room's walls. "I deserve more than a measly gift card." I shifted my weight, ready to step in if needed, my name tag catching the light. Lisa's hands trembled slightly, her eyes flicking between Karen and Mr. Johnson. Mike let out a quiet scoff, barely audible, but I caught it. Karen was pushing every button he had. The break room, with its bulletin board of schedules and platter of leftover sandwiches, felt like a pressure cooker, the coffee maker's faint gurgle the only sound competing with Karen's outrage. "Mom," Mr. Johnson said, his tone firm but polite, "we've offered to make this right. If that's not acceptable, I'm not sure what else we can do." His clipboard tapped lightly against his leg, a subtle sign of his growing impatience. Karen's refusal to back down sent a chill through the room. She planted her feet, her sandwich still raised like a flag of war. "This isn't over," she snapped, her purse nearly sliding off her shoulder. The tension was palpable, and I could feel Lisa and Mike waiting, hoping for a resolution that seemed further away with every word. Karen's next demand left us all speechless. She wasn't stopping there. Karen's ultimatum pushed us to the edge, and I knew we couldn't let her win. The break room clock at Joe's Diner read 20:15 p.m., the fluorescent lights amplifying the strain in the air. Karen Mitchell stood defiant, her flashy blazer now creased, her oversized sunglasses barely clinging to her nose. Her designer purse hung from her arm, and the half-eaten turkey sandwich, its wrapper tattered, was still gripped in her hand like a grudge. The employees only sign on the door seemed to mock the chaos unfolding beneath it. Karen's voice, sharp as a blade, sliced through the tense silence following Mr. Johnson's offer. "I want the person who made this sandwich fired. Immediately," she declared, pointing at the sandwich as if it were a smoking gun. "This incompetence ruined my day, and I won't stand for it. And I want a year of free meals to make up for this disaster." Mr. Johnson, his clipboard still tucked under his arm, didn't flinch. His no-nonsense demeanor held firm as he responded, his voice calm but unyielding. "Mum, the cook, Mike, is a valued employee who made an honest mistake. Firing him or giving a year of free meals isn't reasonable, and it's not happening." Mike, leaning against the break room table, stiffened, his chipped coffee mug forgotten beside him. His jaw clenched, but he stayed silent, his eyes locked on Karen. Lisa, clutching her folded apron, gasped softly, her wide eyes darting to Mr. Johnson for reassurance. I felt a surge of protectiveness for my team, my uniform's name tag a quiet badge of solidarity as I stood ready to back Mr. Johnson. Karen's face twisted with fury. "You're refusing me. I'll contact the Better Business Bureau," she spat, yanking her phone from her purse. "And I'm posting a scathing review on Yelp right now." She began tapping at her screen, her sunglasses slipping completely off her nose and clattering to the floor. She didn't bother picking them up, too consumed with her threat. "I'm filming this," she added, raising her phone to record the break room, capturing the bulletin board, the platter of leftover sandwiches, and the coffee maker's faint steam. "Ma'am," I said, stepping forward, my voice firm but measured, "this is an employee-only area. Please respect our staff and leave the break room." I gestured to the employees-only sign, its faded letters a silent witness to her intrusion. The security camera in the hallway blinked, no doubt catching her filming, a violation Mr. Johnson would likely address later. Karen ignored me, her phone still raised, her purse swinging as she pivoted to keep us all in frame. "This is how Joe's Diner treats customers," she narrated, her voice dripping with venom. The break room, once a haven of burnt coffee and banter, was now a battleground, the jukebox's faint hum from the dining area a distant echo of normalcy. Mr. Johnson's eyes narrowed, his clipboard tapping against his leg. "Ma'am, put the phone down and discuss this reasonably, or we'll have to ask you to leave." His tone carried a warning, but Karen was too far gone, her filming a gauntlet thrown at our feet. Lisa's hands trembled, her apron now a crumpled shield. Mike's fists clenched, his silence louder than words. I kept my stance steady, the weight of the moment pressing on us all. The dining area's checkered tablecloths and regular customers felt a world away, but Karen's defiance was pulling us all into her storm. Karen's filming was bad enough, but her refusal to leave took it to another level. As Karen's camera rolled, the situation spiraled into chaos. The break room clock at Joe's Diner struck 25 p.m., the fluorescent lights casting a harsh glare on Karen Mitchell's defiant stance. Her flashy blazer was disheveled, her oversized sunglasses still on the floor where they'd fallen, and her designer purse swung from her arm as she held her phone aloft, live streaming on X. The half-eaten turkey sandwich lay discarded on the wobbly table, its crinkled wrapper a relic of the complaint that started it all. The employees only sign on the door hung limp, a silent witness to the escalating drama. Karen's voice boomed through the break room as she narrated her stream. "This is Joe's Diner, where the staff are rude and the service is terrible," she declared, panning her phone to capture me, Lisa, Mike, and Mr. Johnson. The security camera in the hallway blinked, recording her violation of the diner's private property policy. Mr. Johnson, his clipboard now set on the table, stepped forward, his no-nonsense demeanor unwavering. "Ma'am," he said, his voice cutting through her tirade, "put the phone down. Filming in this private area without permission violates our policy. I'm asking you to leave now." He cited Ohio Revised Code and 2911-21, his tone firm. "Refusal to leave is trespassing." Karen scoffed, her purse nearly slipping as she kept filming. "I'm not going anywhere!" The world needs to see this." Her words echoed off the break room's walls, drowning out the faint jukebox tunes from the dining area. The bulletin board's staff schedules and the coffee maker's soft gurgle were no match for her defiance. I moved toward the door, my uniform's name tag glinting as I addressed the dining room beyond. Customers at the checkered tablecloths were craning their necks, disturbed by Karen's shouting. "Folks, everything's under control," I said, my voice calm to reassure them. "Enjoy your meals." A few regulars nodded, but the tension was palpable. Lisa, her apron clutched like a lifeline, darted to secure the break room door, ensuring no curious customers wandered in. Mike stood rigid, his chipped coffee mug abandoned, his eyes burning with frustration. The break room, once our sanctuary, felt like a pressure cooker ready to burst. Mr. Johnson pulled out his phone, his fingers steady as he dialed. "This is Joe's Diner. We have a customer refusing to leave after being asked, disrupting our business," he said to the dispatcher. "We need assistance." He hung up, his gaze locked on Karen, who continued her stream, oblivious to the consequences. Minutes later, at 20:25 p.m., 2 police officers arrived, their boots heavy on the diner's tiled floor. The dining area fell silent as they approached the break room, guided by Lisa's nervous wave. The lead officer, a stern woman with a notepad, addressed Karen. "Ma'am, we've received a complaint. You've been asked to leave private property. Refusal is trespassing on Ohio Revised Code 291121, and your behavior qualifies as disorderly conduct under 291711. Please step outside." Karen's face paled, but she kept filming, her voice wavering.
"This is harassment. I'm a paying customer."
The officer repeated the request, her tone leaving no room for argument. When Karen persisted, the second officer stepped forward, calmly but firmly escorting her out. Lisa quickly grabbed Karen's purse and sunglasses, securing them as the officers led her through the dining area, her phone still in hand but no longer streaming. The break room exhaled. Mike unclenched his fists, Lisa sank into a chair, and Mr. Johnson picked up his clipboard, his resolve unshaken. I glanced at the security camera, knowing it had captured the chaos, a record of Karen's unraveling. Out in the dining area, customers resumed their conversations, the jukebox's soft hum reclaiming the space. Karen's arrest was dramatic, but the fallout was even bigger. Karen's outburst didn't break us. It made Joe's Diner stronger. Weeks after the chaos in the break room, the dust had settled, but the impact lingered like the faint scent of coffee from our trusty machine. The "employees only" sign on the door had been straightened, the wobbly table still held leftover sandwiches, and the bulletin board staff schedules were updated with a new sense of pride. The security camera in the hallway, which had captured Karen's tirade, now watched over a revitalized diner. Karen Mitchell faced the consequences of her actions. In court, she pleaded guilty to misdemeanor trespassing and disorderly conduct under Ohio Revised Code 291121 and 2011. The judge handed down a $500 fine and 50 hours of community service at a local food bank, a fitting irony for someone who'd raged over a sandwich. Joe's Diner banned her for life, and Lisa, ever diligent, had ensured Karen's designer purse and oversized sunglasses were returned to a relative who picked them up quietly one afternoon. The community rallied around us. Regulars, who'd witnessed the tail end of Karen's meltdown from the dining area's checkered tablecloths, flooded Yelp with glowing reviews, praising our patience and professionalism. Business surged, the jukebox humming nightly with classic rock as new faces joined our loyal crowd. A local group organized a Support Our Servers event, packing the diner with supporters who tipped generously and shared stories of their own service industry struggles. The event lifted our spirits, and Mr. Johnson, clipboard in hand, personally thanked Lisa, Mike, and me for holding the line. I stood in the break room one evening, my uniform's name tag slightly crooked as always, reflecting on what we'd endured. Service work isn't easy. Long hours, aching feet, and the occasional customer who thinks they own you. But Karen's tantrum reminded me why we stick together. It's not just about coffee and sandwiches, it's about respect, community, and standing firm against entitlement. Her outburst, meant to tear us down, only built us up. The lesson wasn't lost on our customers either. They saw what happens when patience is met with arrogance, and they chose to stand with us. Karen's threats of 1-star reviews and BBB complaints fizzled, drowned out by a chorus of support that echoed far beyond our little diner in suburban Columbus. Loved this story of justice and teamwork, I said to myself, imagining our regulars nodding along. Hit that like button, share it with your friends, subscribe to our channel, and don't forget to ring the bell for more inspiring tales. It was a habit from years of connecting with customers, a way to keep the warmth of Joe's alive. In a diner where every worker counts, one Karen's tantrum only strengthened our resolve.